making the headlines. This is the front page news on Classic FM 97.3.
One Monday morning, all on a Free Readers Association, when I shift to one side, I beg. You don't go buy paper, you don't go one, let people go buy zero. I beg, move.
I don't tell you. You don't see him.
Bonus for life, man.
Oh boy. Hey, stop. I said stop. Go back that page. Eh? MTN 2,000% bonus.
Wow. Sure, you're not wrong.
2,000% bonus if I begin use my MTN SIM again. Oh boy, come on for road.
Yes, so if you never use your MTN SIM for the past 45 days or more, the time don't reach to come back again to enjoy Obonge Awoof. Just go recharge your SIM now and enjoy 2,000% bonus on top your first recharge every month. Now you say if you recharge 100 naira, MTN go summer you 2,000 naira fia. Oh yeah, Abi you still the wait? If you not fit find your MTN SIM, no wahala. Just go to the nearest MTN shop, go to SIM swap and enjoy 2,000% bonus. Terms and conditions they shall.
You don't take we MTN on the paint everywhere yellow. So then we paint a cow and water yellow. Hey, that time we say now only call and text messages today. Now we don't ready to make your life even brighter with our new MTN Nyafu SIM. We got plenty better inside. This one now be better way go they collect a small like a contribution. No, this one now see the heart. Just buy MTN Nyafu SIM. Load 100 naira before you open your eye close them. 800 naira don't sit down they wait for you inside your phone. I no carry water for mouth. Load 100 naira and 800 naira don't be your phone. They wait make you take a call any network or browsers you like. The one way comes with me passing and say anytime when you load the credit don't open better to make you begin to use WhatsApp for free without any warning. So therefore begin to send that picture to Nkechi or that video to Sandra anywhere where them day. What do you they waiting for? Kariwaka, go buy your new MTN SIM. Make you begin enjoy Nyafu.
You're tuned in to the front page news on Classic FM 97.3.
Good morning to you once again. It's front page news and analysis on Classic FM 97.3. Tweet your comments to 33 at Classic FM 973 and also send them to 33973. Post it on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Classic FM 973. Good morning, Jimmy.
Good morning, everybody.
All right, starting with the Vanguard this morning, the headline reads, "There'll be trouble if Buhari approves $1 billion without NAS. I don't have hidden religious agenda," Buhari tells northern pastors. Gas flare, acid rain, still haunt Niger Delta. Pregnant women block hospital protest, 300 medical bill increase in Ondo. Proposed APC NEC meeting sparks allegation of forgery. Nigerian Tribune, 15 feared killed as robbers raid 5 banks police station in Offa. Will give casualty figures, says police. Nigerians not feeling impact of social investment program. Drama as supporters provide shield for Melaye from SARS. Melaye heads for Supreme Court over planned recall. And the Nation reads, Buhari delays trip to stop Oyegu's extension plot. Petrol import loss hits 1.4 trillion. Omishore's men, others dump PDP. We're broke, say Ondo lawmakers. And we start with this in detail. It says here, drama as vigilantes prevent SARS from arresting Melaye. There was mild drama yesterday at 8th fit-out prayers for late Deputy Majority Leader of the House of Representatives, Buba Jubil in Lokoja, Kogi State, as operatives of Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad SARS failed to arrest the senator representing Kogi West, Dino Melaye, who was at the event. The police had a few days ago declared the senator wanted over his implication in handing over illegal weapons to some kidnappers who claimed to be his thugs. The SARS operatives had stormed Kabawa Primary School Lokoja venue of the Fidal prayers in efforts to arrest Senator Melaye, but were struck as local vigilante men encircled them and made it impossible for the SARS operatives to get close to them. Can these vigilantes be arrested themselves?
Wait, let me finish the story. Now, let's get this very, very clear. In the eyes of the law, Dino Melaye is a wanted, suspected criminal. In the eyes of the law. And the law is no respecter of persons. All of us are equal before the law. So he's a wanted suspected. I didn't call him a criminal. He's a wanted suspected criminal because he has been implicated in a situation where 3 people were arrested. They were caught under committing some criminal acts, and they claim that the weapons that they used for the criminal acts were given to them by Dino Melaye, and therefore the police had declared him wanted. They circulated his name, they passed his name on to Interpol, which means that if he shows up anywhere, he is supposed to be arrested. Now, as a good citizen of any country, if a man is declared wanted, it is your responsibility as a good citizen of that country to either arrest him. If you can grab him and shout, ole, 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 people will come and help you grab him, or for you to immediately go and report him to the police. Now, this is the legal situation that we find ourselves in. But let me continue where Bukky had stopped. You know, Bukky had said that this, I'm reading now from this, it says, the SARS operatives have stormed Kabah Police Primary School, Lokoja, venue of the Fidel prayers, in an effort to arrest Senator Melaye, but were awestruck as local vigilante men encircled him. It means that the local vigilante men were obstructing the cause of justice. But the police thankfully used their discretion and didn't want to cause more mayhem by trying to arrest the vigilantes themselves. Either they used their discretion, or when you hear vigilante, usually all kinds of things can come into it. Ayeta, Ifunpa, and Konko. So maybe I remember the Agbekoya days in the 60s when it was said that the Agbekoyas put rice in the gun. They shot policemen, and policemen couldn't take off their uniform. So anyway, the stars, they stood down. Now listen to this report again. This is a suspected criminal that has been one. They said Melaye actually stole the show on occasion, raising his 2 fingers to acknowledge cheers from the crowd who greeted him with a loud ovation. The crowd were greeting a suspected criminal with a loud ovation. That in itself is a very sad situation.
That is the problem we face.
That is the problem we face. But now listen to the next one. Dino, after the prayer session, was escorted into the waiting vehicle of the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, by the local vigilantes who formed a ring round him. If this story is true, our Senate President is shielding a wanted criminal and also has a question to answer, unless he has immunity.
But why this resist of arrest?
I don't know. I'm not even interested in knowing why. I'm just reporting if it is true, what I'm reading here. If it is true, the Senate President, Dr. Bukola Saraki, if it is true, what I'm reading here, is suspected of shielding a wanted criminal. That's what it is. For as long as we don't want to apply the law equally amongst ourselves, and some are more important and no double standards, we will have no progress. That's what it is. Now, it says that the SAR operatives later besieged Chief Razak Kutepa's house at DRA, where the reception took place, but were disappointed to see Melaye in the convoy of the Senate President leave for late Baba's house from where they left for Obajuno airstrip for a flight to Katsina. So, if this story is true, it means that the Senate President not only shielded him from arrest, he helped him escape. So, what do we do next? That is the question I ask all of you at home. That is the question I'm asking our authorities.
The legal luminaries.
What do we do next when we have the number 3 citizen of this country finding himself in a compromised situation of shielding a suspected? Let me tell you the way these things work better. Because when we have spoken about the law, we can now look at it from a practical standpoint. If this is true, what Dr. Saraki should have told Dino is to stay away from that occasion. That look, they might come for you. You better just stay away. But no, they have to show power. They have to show in the Nigerian context that they are above the law. Now, this is a man who aspires to be president of the country and cannot discipline. If this story is true, I put a condition there. I'm reading from a public newspaper. So you can see where our problem lies in this country. you can jolly well see where our problem lies in this country. There are laws for the big men and there are laws for ordinary citizens. I want all of you to reflect on this and then make up your minds, what am I going to do about all this? Am I going to continue to live in a country where the law is not respected? The laws for A are different from the laws for B. In another country, by this morning, the president would have gotten a resignation letter from the Senate president. If he's in, let somebody try it in the United States. You're shielding a suspected criminal. Because if you take out the names, that is what it is. If you take out the names, that is what it is. And what is good for the goose is good for the gander. What is good for the ordinary? There's no ordinary man. We are all the same in the eyes of law and in the eyes of God. When you, anyway, let me just leave it at that. Look here, I don't understand what you're doing here. I can't hear myself well.
You see, you're touching the
this is sabotage.
You're disrupting. You're disrupting the course of justice here, please.
Okay.
Or obstructing, I mean. Is it okay now?
It's okay.
All right. This one says here, $1 billion equipment fund meant for APC campaign, not military, PDP alleges. The People's Democratic Party has called on Nigerians to resist the attempt by the presidency to take $1 billion from the national coffers under the guise of financing the military. The Minister of Defense, Mansur Dan Ali, has told State House correspondent in Abuja on Wednesday that Buhari had approved the purchase of equipment worth $1 billion for the military.
Well, let me confess that I'm a little bit I'm slightly worried about the propriety of spending $1 billion naira on military equipment without $1 billion without the input of the National Assembly at some level. What I mean by at some level is that if by law they are not, it's not supposed to pass through them, I would have expected at least the president to have discussed with the top hierarchy of the National Assembly to say, look, this is what we need to do. $1 billion is chicken feed if you want to equip an army. That much I can tell you. Considering what you're seeing in the papers now about how a lot of money had been frittered away in the past. $1 billion, I don't know how many Alpha jets that would get you, how many tanks it would get you, how many submarines. I think we don't have any submarine. I think it's only Ghana at one point back in the day that used to have a submarine. I mean, so $1 billion, if judiciously spent, I've put a caveat, for equipment. And the army is on lockdown. I mean, we can't run away from that. You have Boko Haram, you have so many challenges. And the army really does need, the equipment need to be upgraded. What I hope would happen is they will quickly resolve this thing and not use politics, to stand down something that will be of greater benefit to the country. You understand? And I can understand the PDP saying that, it is meant for APC campaign because I'm sure from the apology, they did so likewise.
But it should be scrutinized. Honestly, we shouldn't just leave it.
Well, the president cannot make public the details of how they're going to spend. You don't go and let everybody know what kind of equipment you have. Nobody does that. And
they should do that in-house if it's the work of the legislature.
It depends on what the law. It depends on what the law says and the discretion of the president. Surely it will be audited. I hope so. It will be audited and so on and so forth. But it depends on what the law says. Some people claim that since he got the permission of what's it called now,
all right.
The Council of State, yes. Okay. That the man not need to go through because it's not appropriated funds really.
This editorial talks about Ayo Adebanjo at 90, and he says he has a golden chance to decide how he wants to be remembered.
Well, Chief Ayo Adebanjo, whether you like him or not, I disagree with him on a lot of things. But that doesn't take away the fact that he's one of Nigeria's great men, and we're glad to see him at 90, hale, hearty, and like Lai Mohammed would say, chatty. The gentleman turned 90. And this is a nice editorial written in The Nation. And this is what they have to say. They say that Not many top politicians live to the ripe age of 90. Chief Adebanjo has enjoyed grace. At this point, when 2019 is only a few months away, it is time he thought about his legacy. What is he bequeathing to the young generation? Chief Awolowo, Chief Adekunle Ajasin, Senator Ibrahim Adesanya, and even Chief Ige played their parts. They are no longer in a position to influence how history records their deeds. Chief Adebanjo is still alive and agile, and I will add chatty and hearty, and could still decide how he would be remembered. What side of the Nigerian political divide would he be found? The conservative or the progressive? Would he be recorded as an agent of unity or disunity, especially in Yoruba land? After the fracas of the 60s, the Yorubas came largely together in the Second Republic under the Unity Party of Nigeria umbrella, and so on and so forth. We wish him a very, very happy birthday and much more life, more years ahead of him.
Other Day Sunday says the police should stop playing to the gallery and stop insulting our intelligence. Are the vigilante powerful than the police? And Oyewole Fatunda says the confession of those men against Dino is of no moment. So far, there is no evidence fixing Mr. Dino to the low-cost criminal. That is the scene of the crime. The police can do better, please.
No, let's. Dino is like every other Nigerian. If you are named in a situation like that, and it is said that you know,
you can't be called for questioning.
You just go for questioning, and he didn't show up. What are we talking about? Don't let's play politics with this thing. If we don't fix this, if we don't get this idea fixed in our minds and in our system that nobody is above the law, this country cannot progress.
And there's some little things we should not overlook, because they say little foxes spoil the vine. We can't afford to.
Exactly.
Other Day Sunday goes on to say the local vigilante group obstructed justice and nobody's arrested. Is Nigeria a banana republic?
Look, if the police tried to arrest any of those vigilantes, there would have been bedlam in that place. You understand? And a lot of people probably would have gotten killed just because it's what they want. I'm happy about the discretion that they used. They went to lay siege for him. It's the Senate president that helped him escape. And he should be held responsible for that, if it is true, if what we read is true.
Govdatu is casting a mind back here. I don't know if anybody remembers this. He said, remember when Ibori was declared wanted, he was found in the governor's lodge of Saraki back then.
I don't know about that. I don't know.
Just a shame. So
I don't know. I can't clarify that. I'm not in Saraki's backyard.
Is anybody arresting you? Why are you holding your hand? Abbas says the people are tools in the hands of politicians. At the end of it all, we bear the brunt of our attitude. Common people shield someone wanted by the police. Later, we complain of not being treated well by them. What kind of people are we?
If I was the one who shielded somebody in my house now, you can jolly well imagine what would have happened. Then the question you ask is, what example are our rulers setting for us?
Rulers, you just said rulers.
I said it on purpose.
What?
I said it on purpose, and I stand by it. What example are they setting for us? Like I said, if I were the Senate President, first of all, it was the job of the Senate President to hand him over to the police because he's wanted. But even if I didn't want to do that, because if people will not think these things always happen. The least you could have told him is that, oh boy, please don't come for this thing. You know you are wanted. Just go into hiding. But to come out in a brazen manner, if it is true, I keep adding if it is true, in a brazen manner, and aid him in his escape, I must say, straight off, completely irresponsible. Yes.
Sheyi says, where did we go wrong? Nigeria is fast becoming a joke of a society where the so-called lawmakers flout the law of the land with utmost disdain. Adetayo Oluwafemi, thief knows the path of a thief on a mountain. That is why PDP are shouting about the $1 billion. We take a break and we'll be right back.
One Monday morning, all on a free readers association, may I shift to one side, I beg. You know, go buy paper, you know, go one let people go buy zero. I beg, move.
I don't tell you. You don't see him.
Bonus for life, man.
Oh boy. Hey, stop. I said stop. Go back that page. MTN 2000% bonus. Wow.
Shoo, when I wrong go.
2,000% bonus if I begin use my MTN SIM again. Oh boy, come on for road.
Yes, so if you never use your MTN SIM for the past 45 days or more, the time don't reach to come back again to enjoy Obonge Awoof. Just go recharge your SIM now and enjoy 2,000% bonus on top your first recharge every month. Now you say, if you recharge 100 naira, MTN go summer you 2,000 naira fiat. Oh yeah, be you still the wait? If you no fit find your MTN SIM, no wahala. Just go the nearest MTN shop, go to SIM swap and enjoy 2,000% bonus. Terms and conditions they shall.
You're tuned in to the Front Page News on Classic FM 97.3.
So, front page news and analysis on Classic FM 97.3. Let's find out what's happening on our Facebook page. Mofe Steven says it is disgraceful. It is disgracefully obvious that the law respects some people in this country. Imagine the third citizen of Nigeria shielding a wanted man. What a great discredit.
Please add if the story is true.
Abu Otene says, I'm happy that JD can now see that those who should join hands with Buhari to give us good governance are working to cross purpose with the man. Saraki has never appeared to have the good of the country at heart, and indeed he's working to retain the status quo of shortchanging the people always. And Ayokunle says, JD, it may be too early for you to use the tag wanted for Dino Melaye. I heard that you need a court injunction to declare a suspected criminal wanted. I don't know how true it is, but nobody's calling him a criminal. He's not a criminal.
He's suspected, and he's been declared wanted by the Nigeria police. So what is it? What is being too early to declare him wanted? The police have declared him wanted. They've put him on the Interpol list.
And it says here, this one says, Hamid Olatunji says, it's so sad where we find ourselves in a country where a country senator who makes law for Nigerian masses is even supposed to walk up to the police submitting himself if truly he is innocent.
And you know, he missed a court date. A date he was supposed to appear in court. He didn't appear in court. The police PRO himself is confusing. He confused me. Because rather than say that they would arrest him, he said he should show up at the next hearing. I don't understand what that means. A man who is on the run, you say he should show up, go and look for him and grab him. And doesn't he have a house? Have they made an attempt to arrest him in his home?
Chinedu Obaka, he's saying something similar to that. He said, let's be honest, the SARS know Melaye's house and office and where to find him. Why are they playing to the gallery? Didn't they break into judges' houses? The case is politics. Bill Gates' blunt assessment of Nigeria. This is another editorial.
Yeah, well, we all know what Bill Gates had told us about human capital, and the Tribune now writes an editorial on it. But there's a paragraph there that caught my attention, and this is what it says. It says research has shown that there is a strong correlation between a high human development index and economic growth. It has been established that just 1% increase in government expenditure on education will, on the average, lead to 23.8% increase in the GDP. It is unarguable that the development and proper deployment of human capital is sine qua non to economic development. But the country's leaders do not seem to understand this. Instead of developing the people, they embark on projects that will give them acclaim. Sounds familiar. They build roads and neglect schools. They build flyovers and abandon hospitals. They build bridges and neglect the people. The founding fathers of the nation did not do that. I remember good old Awolowo. He did not do that. The founding fathers of the nation did not do that. They invested as much in the people as they did in infrastructure because they knew that it is only when the capacity of the people is well developed that facilities could be well maintained. This is a very, very moving paragraph. And then it says, as a result, the Human Capital Development Index was better then. The current leadership needs to take developing human capital seriously. That was Gates' point. And I add, that is food for thought for our leaders at all levels. They now conclude by saying that smart people don't argue with facts. So rather than explaining away or spawning Gates' observation, the right thing to do is to pick the appropriate lessons and make necessary amends to ensure a more developed people and consequently a more developed country. And on the part of the people, do not vote for somebody because he has created roads and built markets and built flyovers and whatever. Look at what he has done, especially in the area of schools, in the area of hospitals, and in the area of environment. Those are the three key issues. I said, sorry, schools and hospitals, yes. And in the area of the environment, those are the key indices of real development amongst all other things. Because all other developments without those three things I mentioned is virtually nothing. It's just something for you to look at, gaze at, and it doesn't get you anywhere.
Osita Chibuike, who said DSS should arrest Dino in company of Senate President. They are not yet ready to arrest him. And Daddy James says, morning Bukola and Uncle Jimmy, all animals are not equal in Nigeria, but we need to get our PVC ready by 2019. Cambridge Analytica UK Guardian releases video used in blackmailing Buhari in 2015.
This Cambridge Analytica situation is becoming more and more interesting. I'm sure those of you who have been following it, now it's the time for you to realize that a video that was allegedly used by Cambridge Analytica to influence the 2015 presidential elections has been released. And the story here says that the firm, that is Cambridge Analytica, which is also involved in some other things, was reportedly hired by a Nigerian billionaire to run a campaign in support of former President Goodluck Jonathan. Christopher Wiley, a whistleblower, had told members of British Parliament that the video was distributed in Nigeria with the aim of intimidating voters and so on and so on. It says in the video, graphically violent images were used to portray President Muhammadu Buhari, then candidate of the APC, as a supporter of Sharia law who would suppress dissenters and negotiate with extremist groups. Nigerians, you need to be very, very careful. Even with this so-called Fulani herdsmen crisis, you need to be very, extremely careful so that you are not used as willing tools for some people's interests. You need to be very, very careful. I remember when much later I heard about I heard about those who are principally behind the Ojota demonstration on fuel subsidy. I felt so stupid. Honestly, I felt so stupid. We need to be very, very careful, put on our thinking caps, shine our eyes, and disabuse our minds from a lot of propaganda that is going around that helps to make decisions like this. Go and find out in depth, just Google it, what the damage that this company on its own. And don't forget, this was not the only one that was contracted. Some other companies. The billionaire who did it, I don't know why his name has not been mentioned. Maybe some people have a fair idea of who this person is. But as usual, President Jonathan says he knows absolutely nothing about it, even though he would have benefited from it.
Dante himself says there's a court judgment gotten by Mike Ozekome against the police. Only the courts can declare a person wanted and not the police. If the police really want Dino, they should do the right thing. Go to the court. Osita, okay, I'll take it.
You know, sometimes in our support, if my best friend, in fact, if my brother is involved in a thing like this, the most I will do, rather than try and support an illegality publicly, is to just keep quiet. We must have the interest of all at heart. For we must have at the back of our minds the need for us to have a country that works. When I hear certain reactions, I just wonder. You understand?
Yeah.
We must have something that works. Nobody in this country must think that he's above the law.
Bradigaji says, yes, the government must invest in human capital, but we are investing in our senators and reps with their fat pay. And for Niger, now roads. Lai says you're not a lawyer. That the matter is already in court and it can't be talked about. That is what he says. Good morning, Uncle. I think you're wrong on Dino Melaye. The case is in court already. I'm not
talking about the case. I'm talking about the incident. There's a difference between the case and the incident, and I'm talking about the incident as reported in the national newspaper. And I keep saying, if this story is true, my job here is to analyze what I see in the paper. So I'm not talking about his court case. I've not said he's guilty or not guilty. I am talking about what is what is, and I keep using the word suspected. That doesn't completely indict him. So let us be absolutely clear about this.
Ajukawa says corruption in Nigeria has its pulse, shared amongst those we label rich in Nigeria who tell us cock and bull stories to cover up how they became stupendously rich. And on Dino, if he has nothing, why is Dino hiding? The Senate president should be charged for aiding and abetting Dino. And this is Uncle Jimmy. Nigeria is a wonderful country filled with wonderful people. If countries are like television stations, the angels will stay glued to Nigeria. And on that note, we have to draw the curtains on front page news and analysis. Jimmy, thank you very much for being a part of the show. Enjoy your holiday.
Thank you very much.
Sports Express is right after.
One Monday morning, all on a free readers association, now I shift to one side of bed. You know, go buy paper, you know, go one let people go buy zero.
I don't tell you. You don't see him.
Bonus for life, man.
Oh boy. Hey, stop. I said stop. Go back that page. MTN 2,000% bonus.
Wow. Sure, you're not wrong.
2,000% bonus if I begin use my MTN SIM again.
Oh boy.
Come on for.
Yes, so if you never use your MTN SIM for the past 45 days or more, the time don't reach to come back again to enjoy Obonge Awoof. Just go recharge your SIM now and enjoy 2,000% bonus on top your first recharge every month. Now you say, if you recharge 100 naira, MTN goes summer you 2,000 naira fiam. Oh yeah, Abi you still the wait? If you no fit find your MTN SIM, no wahala. Just go the nearest MTN shop, go to SIM swap and enjoy 2,000% bonus. Terms and conditions they shall.
And that's it on the front page news on Classic FM 97.3.